So welcome to my everything that's wrong with my Alaska house and what I'm going to do about it. Video number 1, laundry room. So my old house was about 3,300 square feet and it had a dedicated laundry room that when we moved there, I found out after moving a storage cabinet that it actually had plumbing fixtures. So I was able to put a deep sink in, add some shelving, do a few things, and make that into a really functional room. This house, about 1,400 square foot, and it has a kind of a traditional walk-through laundry situation. I've had another house with this type of setup, and the blessing to this is actually a big room for a walk-through. We've got a lot of space in here. The trouble we found out while I'm still waiting on my household goods to arrive is this really cool Pinterest project that somebody did with the sit down, put on your shoes, that kind of thing, is useless. It's useless because you're going to come in here and you're going to put things over here and then you're not going to be able to get to what's underneath it. So as really cool as this is, this room needs to have something more functional in it than this by far. This is going to have to go. So we're going to start out over here. We've got all this space above with nothing going on. We're going to start out with some cabinet over here. I went the easy way. Believe it or not, I had to go to multiple different stores locally. Even though we're here and away from everybody in Alaska, we have like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 Lowe's hardware stores between Anchorage and Wasilla and Palmer. But this is just a 53-inch 3-drawer cabinet, upper cabinet. It's part of a series that this estate brand does. We don't have room to put the whole series in, although it would be nice to put it on this side. But we're going to do something a little bit different and get going with this. My son's going to help me out. We're going to break this down, assemble it, and without my level, and you know what? Oliver's helping. He's a good guy. He's going to give us a hand getting this torn open. So we're going to get this torn out and start heading in that direction. So, step number 17 in the process outside of deciding to do this project is to build this cabinet. And I really do think that they do this to torture people. But supposedly I've got letters on the side of everything going to help me out. That's panel E. We don't need panel E. We're looking for panel A. So we're just going to go through here until we find, well, see, that panel doesn't have a letter. We're going to go through here until we find panels A and start building it. And when we come back, by the magic of digital photography and video, this thing should be assembled. So this is apparently what a mostly finished upper laundry room cabinet looks like, cam locks and all. And this is what it looks like when your 9-month-old golden retriever is helping you. Take a look along here. Just take a look at that. Anyway, we'll pretend that we've already cleaned all that up. We'll do it later. In here, now for my better half, who hasn't seen this yet until you see this, I want you to look down there and notice that I vacuumed, I cleaned, and that's don't worry, I'll pull this unit out, clean here before I, put everything back in. But down here, I'm sure there's a story. My son was pointing out the baseboard. The paint is absolutely chewed off of that right there. And I'm sure something happened. I don't think that was a water leak, but I don't know what it was. I'll tell you something else for you Alaska folks, or maybe people, maybe it's a West Coast thing, maybe it's houses that were built in the last 4, 5, 6 years thing, but this house is full of MDF all over the place, masquerading as actual wood. It's a bit disappointing. My wood trim, my baseboard, that's just MDF that's been pressed and shaped into looking like a piece of pine or, fir or whatever. And maybe someday, if I live here long enough, that'll all go away and we'll put some real wood down there. I don't understand that. So here's the other thing. Doing some measurements over here on the old clothes washer. I opened the lid and it looks like the minimum that I could go is about 57.5 inches on the downside in order to be able to fully open that lid. And my wife is the perfect size of somewhere around 5 feet. And so for her to reach over and across and get in, I need to, keep these low. I need to keep these low for anybody. So maybe I did or didn't mention the bulk of my tools are in. I'll edit that out. The bulk of my tools are in a container somewhere. I don't know where they are. Floating across the ocean. And I'm being a bit hard-headed. I've got like 17 levels. But I'm going to use basic measurements here. We're going to go 57.5 inches. I'm going to mark that at my bottom. The other thing they did, which is actually pretty genius, this thing has a quick set. Speaking of, MDF, particle wood junk, this is a disposable piece that if you look behind the cabinet, whether you hang it, whichever direction you hang it, this is going to lock in here. See? What I'll be doing is taking a measurement, offsetting for everything, which involves math. This is why math is important for people that might be behind the camera right now that sometimes wonder, why is math important? This is a practical application of math that I have to figure out my spaces. So the neat thing is, if I get this right, and I install this somewhere along the wall, notice this direction, somewhere up here, I'm going to be able to just lower the cabinet in place, scooch it left and right, run the screws in. So we're going to get onto that. See you in a minute. All right, so I've done the math, and the math tells me this line is 57.5 off the floor, and this line right here is 13 3/4 according to my measuring device. 13 3/4, give or take, close enough for me, a fellow without a level. And then that would be to the bottom of where this guy is going to go in. But wait, there's more. In order to put this in here, I have to attach to something more than drywall. Behind here, there are studs. And this handy dandy device, and listen, if you don't have one of these, you just go in here and you listen, and you'll hear the sound change. And one other thing that I will give you a clue to, when you see power outlets in existing construction or original construction, your power outlet is typically going to be nailed to a stud, a framing stud inside the wall. And so that shows us true here because we're showing the stud is somewhere about right here. And as I can hear the sound change as I come across. But if you have one of these things, you're going to slide it in place, turn it on, and as you work your way across the wall, you're going to pick up that stud right there, right? And one of the things you have to do, you have to calibrate this before you use it. And the best way I know to do it, ladies, I'm just saying, ladies, notice, it's calibrated. So that is how we're going to go through here and find it. When I put this little guy on the wall, it's going to make everything go easier. So we'll get that done next. Okay. All right. I'm going to let you go on in. Let me lift up higher. You're going to kind of get underneath it. Ooh. Oh, I didn't need to put that hole in the wall. Okay. Now, we want to put it down flush. And, yeah, there it goes. It is hung, sort of. Okay. So the next little bit here, I'll work on leveling it. I think that's, get this dryer back a little bit deeper, which it can go. And I think that'll work. What do you think?
Sure.
All right. And I mean, that does seem high here, but when that door comes up, whoop, it's gonna, come up here and you'll still be able to open and close the door. So without a level, I'm gonna magically level that using math and a tape measure. And one of the questions that I do have is whether I should shove this all the way against one wall or the other. It presents a question about space in the room. If I center it, if we go dead center, use the same space on each side, it looks symmetrically good. But if I scooch it one way or the other, there could be some benefit. For example, I could possibly put like another shelf altogether. So for example, if we put it all against the wall, that creates a space over here now that you could literally, you could put something there. This could be, it almost could be like if it went this way, like dryer sheets. How often are you getting dryer sheets? Like every time you go in there. So you could pull dryer sheet. I could have like dryer sheets exposed.
What are there on the other side for dryer sheets?
On this side, that's the washer.
No, that side.
Yeah, so if I scooched it this way, right, then dryer sheets could be magical. You could obtain, that's a question. Mm-hmm. Would that be good to want to, grab those? I don't know. So let me think that through before we permanently fasten it to the wall. And then I just got another idea. That whole shelving unit that's up there, up here, I'm wondering if we tear this down, which I'm going to anyway, if that should go above it, just because we just don't have a lot of storage space. We'll see. We'll do that later. Anyway, so you're sitting at home on your phone somewhere watching this and you're thinking to yourself, what would I do? So what would you do? Would you center it so it looks nice? Or would you move it to one side or the other to give more usable space with a little shelving action? I don't know. You can tell me and we'll see. But I think I'll probably make a telephone call to the cohabitator of my life and see what she thinks. All right, so we have shelvage. I made a confirmation call with the best half of this relationship, and she agreed to shift it this way. So right where you are right now is on a shelving unit that is, again, super cool, but unfortunately not useful for our lifestyle and what we're going to do. But what I'm going to do is pull that down and make a notch in it for the power outlet. And where you currently are sitting watching will be a shelving unit here dropping in that will create just that little extra layer of clutter to look at every time I walk in the door. And you know how that goes. And it'll also make the shelving unit go over to here. And this area is actually big enough, if so chosen, that you could actually hang, put bleach over there or something. And I suppose if I could find another one of these colony, I think it's a colony style door, but anyway, if I found another one of these doors that size, I could obviously just put a door over there. The more I think about it, it probably made sense to do this for the washer, to put the bleach, but anyway, that's how it goes. My son put in some shelves in some locations that seem to make sense. Next, let's get this thing down. I've already cut the silicone sealant around it, And there's some screws on the top up here. I'll take you up, it's easier for you than me. I'll remove those and pry it off the wall, make a few changes, and then that's gonna go underneath there. And actually, now that I think about it, there's going to be enough room. I could actually put a bright light here and plunge into the wall, drop down, pick up power. I could do a couple things, but let's take a look out here. I've tried to, hello.
Hi.
I've tried to capture this in some other videos, but it seems like it's always nighttime when I get started. Would you look at that? Apparently, according to the appraisal on this house, that view adds $10,000. So drink it in, folks. That's what it feels like to look at a $10,000 view, according to one appraiser. I actually think that was an excuse to try to make the offer price work. But I digress. Let's get back to this mess. My other helpers, they've managed to wear themselves out helping to dispose of the cardboard. And we're going to get back on this and get that out. I'll also be pulling this out of here a little bit later. All right, so short of some caulking and paint, which one of my stepbrother-in-law, I believe he told me, caulk and paint make a carpenter what he ain't, and that applies to me. So over here, this is the rack that was on the other side of the room. Had to break it all apart. It had been stapled together and really built in place. So it is in, this of course is MDF, and I scraped out all the old caulking. I'll come in and caulk it up and clean it up. But this is fantastic. We've got the regular box up here, and this little, I don't know what we'll do with that, but there's something, I can put a whole gallon of bleach there or whatever. And this is pretty sweet because door goes up, door comes open, and I guess if you wanted to be fancy, you could even just pull that out and give it a little, you know, one of those little squirt, right in the old hole. So well, there it is. Pretty happy with it. Caulk and paint and a bunch of hours of our time. And I actually just got to meet the prior owner of the house a little bit in between this, and had a lot of fun talking to her. So that broke up some of our time. Let's take a look over here. This is where that built-in was, and what I'll be doing is tearing this out and I don't know, doing something with it. But come in here. This is the last part of this project today. Don't look at that. Don't look at anything you see over here. Okay, so here we go. So everything that I hate about the Alaska house, part 2, has to do with the fact that over the old toilet in here, we don't have anywhere to store anything. And went to Lowe's, found this amazing cabinet for, I don't know, it's cheap. It was cheap because if you look, it's all make-believe. It's all make-believe wood. It's, you know, pressed particle wood, OSB, MDF, whatever, with a melamine or veneer stick-on finish. But you know something? For the toilet area, I think it'll be fine. So it's actually pretty big. This is normally for a kitchen upper cabinet. Come on in here. Don't look at anything. Don't look at anything. Just look in here and notice that we have, you know, pretty decent. This is 42 inches across, and I don't have any trash cans yet. Did I tell you my stuff is out there floating around the ocean somewhere? Anyway, so we're going to come in and put this in. Looks like there was something here. I forgot to ask the owner what they used to put in here. But this ought to hang up pretty quick just as soon as I find the studs. So we'll get to that in a bit. Thanks. All right, let's actually put it on the toilet seat. I mean on the lid for a second. Go ahead and let it down. Okay. Let's open the doors for access. Okay, now let's push up on the wall and let's center it up it against the wall on the top and then let it down a little. Okay, that's actually looking pretty good. I can start one if I got it in the right spot. That didn't sound like it went into much, but okay, what I'm gonna do on this side is lift this side a little bit. Oh, let it back down a little. Wiggle down, wiggle down. Wiggle down. Okay. More. Alright, I'm liking that. Let's see if I got this one in the right spot. That sounded like it went into something. That sounded like it went into something. Now, here's the thing. Is that going to be a head bumper? You know, you're sitting here. I don't know if you ever go that far back. You've done something. You've done something. You could hit your head on it. Now, Mom she's an Amazonian beast. What is she? 7'12"?
Something like that.
Makes her 8 foot tall. She's gonna be like this. But I think, you know, here's the thing. What if you ran out of TP? You could like flip this forward and go whoosh. All right? I don't know. Should it be taller? I don't know. If it's too tall, I don't know. What do you think? Just 4 foot off. We'll leave it there until she complains?
Yeah, probably.
All right. It seems dark now. There's like a shadow over that. But, you know, if you're doing the man thing, I don't, you know, we're not going to test it out on camera. But if I think there's adequate distance here to do business. You know, just thinking, I don't even know it's back there right now. You know, I guess I could lean back. Who's going to lean back? Who leans back? No one leans back. Try it out. Do you ever lean back that far?
I don't think so.
I don't know. Maybe we might raise this up later. We'll see. But, you know, I don't hate that so bad. I like having that's good. We've got a place to put stuff. And, yeah. So, it's not bad. It's not terrible. My bit's in there?
Yep.
Okay. Almost done with this Saturday's projects. It's good. I don't know if it's good or not. Let's just rock with it and see what happens. So we'll try that out. So we're going to leave you here. Let me just let you see where we ended up, and then there'll be, I don't know, part 2 maybe. But what I did is I tore out what was left of that box that was here, which turned out to be quite the project, actually, considering that I basically have a little miniature hammer, a little screwdriver. That's pretty much my tools. My son's foot with a boot, kind of doing some kicking, but got it out, and this is what it looks like. All that is the box that was in the corner. I was going to try and save it, use it for something else, but it's all made out of this cheap paperwood stuff, and just, you know, just completely non-reusable. So next part here, I'm going to look into either doing some kind of a doors or something. I could do a cabinet system back here. That might be kind of nice. And one of the things I'm thinking about doing is taking this sliding door assembly here out and putting this in the closet area so that when you walk through to the right, you can have things, you know, put away and hang clothes up there, shelving in it, and box it so you can, these are 9-foot ceilings, so you can maybe have a shelf above it for what have you. And then it'd be nice to just have the old double door here, French door style setup. So we'll look into that. But as far as everything I hate about my Alaska house, there's 2 things that I don't hate anymore. We've taken care of them. We got a place over the toilet to, you know, put toilet stuff. And we have a place over the washer and dryer to put washer and dryer stuff. And I no longer have that box over there that was really neat, but by the time you put shoes or towels or something on it, you didn't have any way to access it. So it's gone. So catch up with you later.